The Heroes of Olympus, Book 5, The Blood of Olympus, by Rick Riordan.
Chapter 20. Piper. Piper knew fear, but this was different. Waves of terror crashed over her. Her joints turned to jelly. Her heart refused to beat. Her worst memories crowded her mind. Her father tied up and beaten on Mount Diablo, Percy and Jason fighting to the death in Kansas, the three of them drowning in the Nymphaeum in Rome, herself standing alone against Chione and the Boreads. Worst of all, she relived her conversation with her mother about what was to come. Paralyzed, she watched as the giant raised his sledgehammer to smash them flat. At the last moment, she leaped to one side, tackling Annabeth. The hammer cracked the floor, peppering Piper's back with stone shrapnel. The giant chuckled. Oh, that wasn't fair. He hefted his sledgehammer again. Annabeth, get up! Piper helped her to her feet. She pulled her toward the far end of the room, but Annabeth moved sluggishly, her eyes wide and unfocused. Piper understood why. The temple was amplifying their personal fears. Piper had seen some horrible things, but it was nothing compared to what Annabeth had experienced. If she was having flashbacks of Tartarus, enhanced and compounded with all her other bad memories, her mind wouldn't be able to cope. She might literally go insane. I'm here, Piper promised, filling her voice with reassurance. We will get out of this. The giant laughed. A child of Aphrodite leading a child of Athena. Now I've seen everything. How would you defeat me, girl? With makeup and fashion tips? A few months ago, that comment might have stung, but Piper was way past that. The giant lumbered toward them. Fortunately, he was slow and carrying a heavy hammer. Annabeth, trust me, Piper said. A plan, she stammered. I go left, you go right. If we... Annabeth? No plans. What? No plans. Just follow me. The giant swung his hammer, but they dodged it easily. Piper leaped forward and slashed her sword across the back of the giant's knee. As the giant bellowed in outrage, Piper pulled Annabeth into the nearest tunnel. Immediately, they were engulfed in total darkness. Fools! The giant roared somewhere behind them. That is the wrong way. Keep moving. Piper held tight to Annabeth's hand. It's fine. Come on. She couldn't see anything. Even the glow of her sword was snuffed out. She barreled ahead anyway, trusting her emotions. From the echo of their footfalls, the space around them must have been a vast cavern, but she couldn't be sure. She simply went the direction that made her fear the sharpest. Piper, it's like the House of Night, Annabeth said. We should close our eyes. No, Piper said. Keep them open. We can't try to hide. The giant's voice came from somewhere in front of them. Lost forever, swallowed by the darkness. Annabeth froze, forcing Piper to stop too. Why did we just plunge in? Annabeth demanded. We're lost. We did what he wanted us to. We should have bided our time, talked to the enemy, figured out a plan. That always works. Annabeth, I never ignore your advice. Piper kept her voice soothing. But this time, I have to. We can't defeat this place with reason. You can't think your way out of your emotions. The giant's laughter echoed like a detonating depth charge. Despair, Annabeth Chase. I am Mimas, born to slay Hephaestus. I am the breaker of plans, the destroyer of the well-oiled machines. Nothing goes right in my presence. Maps are misread, devices break, data is lost. The finest minds turn to mush. I faced worse than you, Annabeth cried. Oh, I see. The giant sounded much closer now. Are you not afraid? Never. Of course we're afraid, Piper corrected. Terrified. The air moved. Just in time, Piper pushed Annabeth to one side. Crash! Suddenly, they were back in the circular room, the dim light almost blinding now. The giant stood close by, trying to yank his hammer out of the floor where he'd embedded it. Piper lunged and drove her blade into the giant's thigh. Arr! Mimas let go of the hammer and arched his back. Piper and Annabeth scrambled behind the chained statue of Ares, which still pulsed with a metallic heartbeat. Thump, thump, thump. The giant Mimas turned toward them. The wound on his leg was already closing. You cannot defeat me, he growled. In the last war, it took 2 gods to bring me down. I was born to kill Hephaestus, and would have done so if Ares hadn't ganged up on me as well. You should have stayed paralyzed in your fear. Your death would have been quicker. Days ago, when she faced Chione on the Argo II, Piper had started talking without thinking, following her heart no matter what her brain said. Now she did the same thing. She moved in front of the statue and faced the giant, though the rational part of her screamed, "Run, you idiot!" "This temple," she said. "The Spartans didn't change Ares because they wanted his spirit to stay in their city." "You think not?" The giant's eyes glittered with amusement. He wrapped his hands around his sledgehammer and pulled it from the floor. "This is the temple of my brothers, Deimos and Phobos." Piper's voice shook, but she didn't try to hide it. "The Spartans came here to prepare for battle, to face their fears. Ares was chained to remind them that war has consequences. His power, the spirits of battle, the Makai, should never be unleashed unless you understand how terrible they are, unless you felt fear." Mimas laughed. "A child of the love goddess lectures me about war. What do you know of the Makai?" "We'll see." Piper ran straight at the giant, unbalancing his stance. At the sight of her jagged blade coming at him, his eyes widened and he stumbled backward, cracking his head against the wall. A jagged fissure snaked upward in the stones. Dust rained from the ceiling. "Piper, this place is unstable," Annabeth warned. "If we don't leave..." "Don't think about escape!" Piper ran toward their rope, which dangled from the ceiling. She leaped as high as she could and cut it. "Piper, have you lost your mind?" Probably, she thought, but Piper knew this was the only way to survive. She had to go against reason, follow emotion instead, keep the giant off balance. "That hurt!" Mimas rubbed his head. "You realize you cannot kill me without the help of a god, and Ares is not here. The next time I face that blustering idiot, I will smash him into bits. I wouldn't have had to fight him in the first place if that cowardly fool Damasen had done his job." Annabeth let loose a guttural cry. "Do not insult Damasen!" She ran at Mimas, who barely managed to parry her dragon blade with the handle of his hammer. He tried to grab Annabeth, and Piper lunged, slashing her blade across the side of the giant's face. "Gah!" Mimas staggered. A severed pile of dreadlocks fell to the floor, along with something else. A large, fleshy thing laying in a pool of golden ichor. "My ear!" Mimas wailed. Before he could recover his wits, Piper grabbed Annabeth's arm, and together they plunged through the second doorway. "I will bring down this chamber," the giant thundered. "The Earth Mother shall deliver me, but you shall be crushed." The floor shook. The sound of breaking stone echoed all around them. "Piper, stop," Annabeth begged. How are you dealing with this? The fear, the anger? Don't try to control it. That's what the temple is about. You have to accept the fear, adapt to it, ride it like the rapids on a river." "How do you know that?" "I don't know it. I just feel it." Somewhere nearby, a wall crumbled with a sound like an artillery blast. "You cut the rope," Annabeth said. "We're going to die down here." Piper cupped her friend's face. She pulled Annabeth forward until their foreheads touched. Through her fingertips, she could feel Annabeth's rapid pulse. "Fear can't be reasoned with. Neither can hate. They're like love. They're almost identical emotions. That's why Ares and Aphrodite like each other. Their twin sons, Fear and Panic, were spawned from both war and love." "But this doesn't make sense." "No," Piper agreed. "Stop thinking about it. Just feel." "I hate that. I know. You can't plan for feelings. Like with Percy and your future. You can't control every contingency. You have to accept that. Let it scare you. Trust that it'll be okay anyway." Annabeth shook her head. "I don't know if I can." "Then, for right now, concentrate on revenge for Damasen. Revenge for Bob." A moment of silence. "I'm good now." "Great, because I need your help. We're going to run out there together." "Then what?" "I have no idea." "Gods, I hate it when you lead." Piper laughed, which surprised even her. Fear and love really were related. At that moment, she clung to the love she had for her friend. "Come on." They ran in no particular direction and found themselves back in the shrine room, right behind the giant Mimas. They each slashed one of his legs and brought him to his knees. The giant howled. More chunks of stone tumbled from the ceiling. "Weak mortals!" Mimas struggled to stand. "No plan of yours can defeat me." "That's good," Piper said, "because I don't have a plan." She ran toward the statue of Ares. "Annabeth, keep our friend occupied." "Oh, he's occupied." "Gah!" Piper stared at the cruel bronze face of the war god. The statue thrummed with a low metallic pulse. The spirits of battle, she thought. They're inside, waiting to be freed. But they weren't hers to unleash, not until she'd proven herself. The chamber shook again. More cracks appeared in the walls. Piper glanced at the stone carvings above the doorways, the scowling twin faces of fear and panic. "My brothers," Piper said, "sons of Aphrodite, I give you a sacrifice." At the feet of Ares, she set her cornucopia. The magic horn had become so attuned to her emotions, it could amplify her anger, love, or grief, and spew forth its bounty accordingly. She hoped that would appeal to the gods of fear, or maybe they would just appreciate some fresh fruits and vegetables in their diets. "I'm terrified," she confessed. "I hate doing this, but I accept that it's necessary." She swung her blade and took off the bronze statue's head. "No!" Mimas yelled. Flames roared up from the statue's severed neck. They swirled around Piper, filling the room with a firestorm of emotions. Hatred, bloodlust, and fear, but also love. Because no one could face battle without caring for something. Comrades, family, home. Piper held out her arms, and the Makai made her the center of their whirlwind. "We will answer your call," they whispered in her mind. "Once only, when you need us. Destruction, waste, carnage shall answer. We shall complete your cure." The flames vanished along with the cornucopia, and the chained statue of Ares crumbled into dust. "Foolish girl!" Mimas charged her, Annabeth at his heels. "The Makai have abandoned you." "Or maybe they've abandoned you," Piper said. Mimas raised his hammer, but he'd forgotten about Annabeth. She jabbed him in the thigh, and the giant staggered forward, off balance. Piper stepped in calmly and stabbed him in the gut. Mimas crashed face first into the nearest doorway. He turned over just as the stone face of panic cracked off the wall above him and toppled down for a 1-ton kiss. The giant's cry was cut short. His body went still. Then he disintegrated into a 20-foot pile of ash. Annabeth stared at Piper. "What just happened?" "I'm not sure." "Piper, you were amazing, but those fiery spirits you released, the Makai, how does that help us find the cure we're looking for?" "I don't know. They said I could summon them when the time comes. Maybe Artemis and Apollo can explain." A section of the wall calved like a glacier. Annabeth stumbled and almost slipped on the giant's severed ear. "We need to get out of here." "I'm working on it," Piper said. "And, I think this ear is your spoil of war." "Gross." "Would make a lovely shield." "Shut up, Chase." Piper stared at the second doorway, which still had the face of fear above it. "Thank you, brothers, for helping to kill the giant. I need one more favor, an escape. And believe me, I am properly terrified. I offer you this, lovely ear as a sacrifice." The stone face made no answer. Another section of the wall peeled away. A starburst of cracks appeared in the ceiling. Piper grabbed Annabeth's hand. "We're going through that doorway. If this works, we might find ourselves back on the surface." "And if it doesn't?" Piper looked up at the face of fear. "Let's find out." The room collapsed around them as they plunged into the dark.